On my way to 500. Please subscribe. Welcome everyone to Resin Crafting with Chris Collected. Today we are going to continue resin tray madness. As you can see, this one's about 98% full, but just a little bit is showing, so I wanted to put some more onto it before demolding it. And this one is about 80% full, and so I wanted to go ahead and have them topped up so that they could be 100% full and totally usable. And as you can see here, the resin tray is looking great. That purple is looking amazing, but a little bit of it did go over the side. I am still using the T-Expert resin. This resin has given me really crystal clear results, so I will still be using the rest of this gallon up. This is a 1-to-1. We're going to fill half the cup up with A and B. Now we're going to use our Resiner's dual head mixer. I would say overall my review on this after about 4 videos would be a 2.5 out of 5. It's just, it has some problems. As you can see here, their Resiner's cup is too small for their own mixer, and it just constantly moves. So I ended up having to hold it while I was doing it, but that's not the end of the world. It still did a pretty decent job. However, I looked at the end result and did see a few streaks, but that's okay. I mean, maybe it was just not mixed well enough. I just didn't do it long enough. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm going to switch to doing the large paddles, and we'll see what happens. We're going to split this resin into 2 different cups so that I can do 2 different colors. And I'm still using my airless Resiner's bubble remover. So let's go ahead and get a quick view of what about 10 minutes of vacuum pressure will do to a little bit of resin. As you can see, even the cups themselves do slightly move as they are sucking out all of the air and therefore all of the bubbles out of that resin. Doesn't this look so cool? And it's all pop. Okay, so we're going to be putting 2 different colors into this. We're going to put Resiner's pink, as well as resin dye bright blue. We're going to put that into the other cup. This one I actually decided, because last time I was doing, like, I was counting the drops. This one I said, you know what, squirt. And then finally we're going to use a little lemon yellow, and we're going to mix that with that pink and make what I'm calling strawberry lemonade. Now let's mix these 2 up. And see what we have there. Look how nice and bright blue that is. Next, let's mix up that strawberry lemonade. And look how that's looking. That's looking exactly how I wanted. Gotta celebrate summertime with bright colors. Now, time for the pours. First up, as I've said in a previous video, red and blue do make purple, and so we're gonna do a tray to kind of show that off. So the bottom of it was that purple, and then now the top of it is half and half red and blue. As I mentioned at the top, this one's about 98% filled, and so we're just gonna fill a little bit of that top, get it at 100%. I really wanted that connector between the 2 pieces to be really strong. Next, I'm gonna use that blue and fill in the rest of this purple. I went a little over there, but that's okay. The little bit that was left over, I wanted to make sure we topped up that tray, made sure it was 100% full. Wow, that strawberry lemonade is just looking so good, isn't it? Okay, so that's all of the standard pieces for today. But what is that? Is that a Patreon exclusive in the wild? Well, to celebrate, I am starting to do some more stuff on my Patreon, and so I wanted to show that off, but at the same time, give you one more piece for the regular YouTube audience. And so this is one of my favorite pieces. This is a Mickey Mouse mold with hologram in it. So make sure to stay tuned for the demolding that's coming up next. Well, almost next. I did realize, I was like, you know, I wanted to put a few of these little guys in there. I tried to do some that match the different colors, so the blue side has some blue ones and the red side has some red ones. However, you'll see in the demolding later, some of them did sink, because you see here, I will be pushing them all in, but some of them didn't sink and kind of floated, and I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe I just didn't coat them well enough. But all right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. The demolding is included in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. I will see you on the next ones for more resin tray madness. What's that? What are all those extra pieces? I don't remember those. That's because they were Patreon exclusives. Now let's demold our first piece. Now, I was not sold on the hologram molds before this, because I had always done it with mica powder and it wasn't perfect. But with this clearer resin dye, man, it shows up just, I think, as it's meant to be. So wow, that hologram turned out perfect. Now let's see what this one is. Ooh, look at the clarity on that tray. As you can see, the little bits have sunk. Well, some of them have sunk. Others of them actually ended up floating. But the ones that did sink, I think, looked really good. However, I think if I will be remaking this tray and not putting any bits in it. I think the clarity was just so interesting to me, because this airless bubble, you know, a bubble remover machine is just so good. And then look at that purple. You can see my fingers right through it. And the little bit of purple that was on the tray itself, you can't even tell. It happened to be right at the transition of the blue and the red, so it worked perfectly. Now let's look on this guy. The demolding was a breeze. If you remember from the last video, we did 3 drops with no movement to them. So all of that movement was done by the hardening of the resin itself. It pulls towards the center. And as you can see, those bits then got pulled toward the center. Even that one little piece all the way to the center. It tries to go to the highest point of mass. And this is the other one that we did the swirls on. Came with a little extra bar of resin there because I overfilled it a bit. But see how those swirls actually stayed? Isn't that amazing? So I can't wait to do all kinds of more projects with that. As you can see here, it fits together perfectly. I will sand it before I end up using it for a display. And it happened to fit this little tray perfectly. Doesn't that look great? But that's not what I'm going to be using it for when I do my market events. What I'm going to use it for my market events is, well, the rugs that I make, of course. I do rug tufting, resin crafting, and sewing. And as you can see here, this little piece was made to display one of my rugs. So you can have that sitting on your countertop or maybe your table, your desk. Thank you all so much. My name is Chris Collected. I am a digital and physical media artist. I do resin crafting, rug tufting, and sewing. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm on my way to 500 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much. See you next time.